my name's Richard Cobham. I was born in 1982. I was born at Chorley Hospital. Lived very briefly on Clayton Gate, near the Spur, and then we moved here, which is Preston Road, which is a lovely area to live because you've got things like Chisnall Woods very close by, the pit shafts obviously, which are always fun to go and have a look at, and the fields behind me as well, you know, which there's lots of nice walks, and BMX track as well, you know, absolutely amazing. Growing up as a child, it was a lovely area to live. Me mum and dad, Alan and Margaret. My dad's from Yorkshire, my mum's from Standish. I've also got a brother and a sister, Nick and Emma. Emma emigrated to Australia a couple of years ago, and Nick lives on Buckshaw Village.
Which schools did you go to?
I went to St Oswald's, the infant school, which isn't there anymore, and then the junior school, which is on Spenmore Lane, and obviously was a member of St Oswald's Church as well. I went to Holy Cross, which is in Chorley, obviously.
And right, tell me about your days as a young child when you were at school age.
Okay.
What did you do? Did you have mates? And
Probably because of where I live, didn't really knock around with people outside school that much.
Yeah.
It was more go for a walk in Chisnall Woods with my brother, where we'd go and knock down dams in the stream that were there and make our own ones further down and things like that. Or go up on the rugby pitch. It's the Panthers rugby pitch is just behind as well. So we'd go and have a kick about with my dad or something like that. Or just go up on my BMX on the BMX track.
Oh, did you go around BMX?
I did, yeah. It's changed actually a few times over the years. I remember seeing it on telly once as well. Flipped the telly on and I thought, I know that. I've seen that place before, and then realised it. It's Coppull BMX track on ITV. But it was because they did have quite a few. Competitions on. You could hear the when the bar thing goes down to let everyone down the hill. You could hear that from here going clang. But I never entered in any competitions or anything like that. It was just going up and muck about,
Did you play in Burkacre at all, or did you not go over that way so much?
Burkacre, not that much. From here it is quite far, because we're not far from the border of Standish here. But I did, go on the odd walk around Burkacre, around the lodge and that. And I remember going to look at the waterfall, the horseshoe waterfall, which, as a kid, that was like, wow, this is amazing. And I love what they've done with it as well, with the little, is it for trout at the side?
That's right, yeah.
The little spillway thing. I think that's a good idea. Because now I live in Chorley, I've been looking at it quite a bit more, and it is a lovely area. And that's nice for a walk as well.
I mean, I don't know about you, Richard, but I came in '79, and I've always liked living around here.
Yeah.
You're handy for everywhere.
Yeah.
And there's countryside on your doorstep.
Exactly.
Especially where you're living now. It's
lovely.
It really is. So, did you have any particular? Have you been in hobbies? I know you told me you were interested in mechanicking from an early age, engineering.
My brother used to work for a tool hire company, and he's always been good at building things, reconditioning things. So I think that partly inspired me to move into engineering. And I especially like the practical side of things, taking things to bits, trying to build them back up again, make sure they still work the way they did or better. So I think my brother was a big factor in that. He can take anything to bits and build it up again.
So just tell us a bit now about your further education and then what that led to.
Okay. In what respect? The
did you go college or university?
yeah. I went to Runshaw College doing GMVQ engineering. I did go to Bradford University as well to do civil engineering, but that didn't quite pan out. But I'm glad that it didn't, because I ended up in a job that I really, really love, and I've always felt an affinity with as well.
Yeah. Just tell us what that is.
That job being diesel injection engineering. I recondition diesel pumps, injectors for commercial and sometimes marine use as well. Mainly things like transits, Astras, all sorts really, up to agricultural tractors, large trucks, tugboats, all sorts. And it's just I find it a really interesting job.
How did you find your time at Holy Cross? I believe you said you went to Holy Cross.
I did, yeah. The time at Holy Cross was good. I was never massively into sports, unfortunately, but it was a nice environment. It was a nice school environment to go to. There was never a lot of trouble when I heard stories from other schools. I think, God, if that had happened at Holy Cross. Yeah.
You don't remember anybody special from your childhood, any teachers or anything?
Teachers from my childhood, yes. Mrs. Birtwistle, who used to, she was a teacher at St Oswald's Infant School. Mm-hmm. I remember, if it wasn't for her, I don't think I'd have the joy I have for reading now, because we used to have these books that had no pictures in, and very, very small writing, and I dreaded it every single day. When I was like 4 or 5, it was like, oh, I don't want to do this. And I think one day she just got sick of it and said, right, go and get one of those. They were one of the books off the shelf, which were about 10 pages long, about 5 words per page, and pictures. And it was like, got through it in that one go. And I was like, well, that was easy. I can do that. I can read that, no worries. And she had me go through practically the entire bookshelf while everyone else was still labouring with these awful, outmoded books. I got to do this, and from that, I learned to enjoy reading. And if it wasn't for her, I don't think I would have read half of the things that I have today.
So you still like reading, Richard?
Yeah, I love reading. Yeah. I really enjoy it.
Yeah. What, fiction or anything?
Mainly fiction. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Sci-fi, horror, but also, things that considered classics like To Kill a Mockingbird, Of Mice and Men, things like that. Yeah. Some of the things that I did at school at Holy Cross, To Kill a Mockingbird, I did that GCSE, and that's one of my favourite ever books. Yeah. That, thanks to Mrs. Birtwistle.
Very good. I take it now you don't attend church now, do you not?
I don't, no. Funnily enough, went recently to St Mary's in Standish. My grand's she recently had a stroke, and someone organised a mass there for her. So the family went along to that. But other than that, unless it's a special occasion, I don't. Not really practicing. Just try and be as moral as possible.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. And so, looking back at your time in Coppull and your childhood in Coppull, a happy one, really.
Yeah, definitely a happy time. Yeah.
I know when you contacted me, you said you had good childhood memories of Coppull. That's nice. Yeah.
Well, I still remember, I've been racking my brains trying to think of things, anything to talk about. Yeah. And I remember one day years ago, a hot air balloon actually landed in the fields behind the house over my shoulder. And for like a child of 5, 6, that was the stuff of dreams. It was just seeing this huge red balloon descend, and it was like, where's that going? Surely not. And we went and had a look, and it was just sat there in the middle of the Staley's Field, which
Yeah,
was
they still go over
amazing.
quite often, don't they?
You do get quite a few.
Yeah.
And one, like I've mentioned a couple of times, the pit shafts. I do find them intriguing and interesting, but absolutely terrifying at the same time. You know, we used to go, obviously with my dad, we used to go and throw stones in, because in those days they were very loosely covered with the odd plank of wood and a bit of chicken mesh, and you could throw stones in and then we'd wait to hear the plop. You know, it'd be like 4 or 5 seconds before you heard it, and it's like, well, that's deep. And then, you know, God knows how deep the water goes.
Yeah, I can't remember them like that. They're all capped now, aren't they?
Yeah.
Capped. So, was this at Chisnall? Or
It's just
back here?
Yeah, if you go up the road and just after Coppull Lane on the left, there's a little there's a sign actually, like a big stone plaque thing.
Yeah, that's right.
And you just walk down there, and there they are. I actually went up recently to have a look, because I told someone who worked with about them, but they'd bricked all the walls up. Because it only used to be about 4.5, 5 feet high, and you could quite easily climb in. God knows what.
As a kid, that's pretty intriguing. Stones down.
Plus, just weird as well, seeing, because they used to have trees growing in the middle of it, in the middle of the brick structure. So it was like, oh, what's that standing on then? So you'd have a look over to see that. But, and the other one, the even taller one, that had nothing in the middle of it whatsoever. There was just one big metal stanchion going all the way across, and climbed up there once as well. If you got a tree trunk, well, like a branch, you could lean it into there was a corner, and you could climb up and then jump and grab hold of the top. And we just sat on the edge and looked in. It was like, oh, gotta get down again. Absolutely, still have dreams about them, really. Terrifying place, but really interesting as well. And some of the, there's a lot of stuff to see around Chisnall. If you can actually get to it off Town Lane in Charnock. If you follow Town Lane all the way to the end, you go under a motorway bridge. And if you turn left and follow that road round, there's like an old scrapyard, which I'm told used to be a paintworks, I think. Right. And apparently they used to pour all sorts of chemicals down the hill. And if you look at the land and the ground around there, it's a really steep hill that it was based on. And you can pick up the rock and slate and just crumble it in your hands because of all the stuff that they used to pour down. And obviously the river itself is like a murky orange colour because of all the minerals and things in it. But there's all sorts to see around there. There's in that area there's what was actually a propeller for what I'm told one of the ventilator shafts for the mines. You know, that was just sat out at the side of the public footpath, massive big rusty propeller, which was amazing as well. But I bet there's not much left of that now.